two significant tax laws that managers need to be aware of are the Income Tax Assessment Act of 1936 and the one in 1997, which is a progressive updating of the 36 tax law. And within that tax law, it covers off things like personal earnings, tax on personal earnings, tax on business income, tax on capital gains, etc. So managers need to be aware of that because that's part of our financial management as well. So, for example, if you're managing within your cost center or within your scope of responsibility, you're responsible for the financials of your salaries and wages. You also need to take into account the tax, for example, payroll tax that needs to be paid on that and so forth. That goes into your costings and forecasts so that you're capturing all the expenses within your business. The other one that we need to be aware of as well as managers is the GST, which comes under the New Tax System Act of 99. And for those you don't know, the GST is a broad-based tax, and at the current rate, it's 10%. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, on most goods and services, um, and businesses become a collection agency for the tax office, in part in a sense that we put 10% GST on those services, goods and services that attract a GST tax. We put that on there. We've collect that money, but it's not part of our revenue because all we're actually doing is holding it and then passing it on to the tax office. And different organisations will have different requirements in terms of whether you do or don't capture that or how you capture that. But as a manager, we need to be aware of that. And the other key bit of legislation in this space to be considered is if you're working in the public service. If you're a Commonwealth employee, then you also need to be aware of the Public Governance and Performance and Accountability Act of 2014, often called the PGPA Act. And that has quite a significant number of restrictions around or requirements around how public or Commonwealth is to use the money, how it's accounted for, how it's to be reported, and so forth. So if you're in that space, you should also be aware of that as a key form of legislation.